We're just getting everyone into the room. Hey, how is everyone? Tonight's gonna be really, really good. It's gonna be really good. I love doing Meeting of the Minds because it's not like a typical event. It's not at all. It's not just me or Maria. Hey, or Laura. She's not gonna be on tonight. She's in Iceland gallivanting with my youngest sister as a grad present. But it's just fun. We get to talk. We're gonna talk real estate. Don't be shy. I see some of my lovely ladies on. Hi, hi. Happy you're here. I see some familiar faces. Okay. All right. So, real quick, where are you all located? Let's kind of go around the world for a second. I like to say we do a mini travel session here. So, we have North Carolina, Connecticut. Yes. Davie, Florida. Oh, you're right next to me. I'm in Boca. Virginia, Missouri. Yes. SoCal. Hello, hello. Alabama. Love it. Anyone else want to share? Don't be shy. Texas. Yes. Anyone else? And get some of these introverts. I'm back again from Texas. Fantastic. Okay.
I want to know where Kish is in Missouri because I'm in St. Louis. Where are
Yes,
you? Where are
Kish,
you?
where are you in Missouri? I don't remember where you are. It's not St. Louis, though. If I remember correctly, it might be, and I could be totally off. There we
Okay.
go. Lebanon. I was like, she's not from St. Louis. There you go. Yeah, feel free to come on camera if you want, but if it's gonna make you jump off, don't. Hi, Lee, South Carolina. Fantastic. Okay, let me start sharing my screen. All right, so we are doing something really fun tonight, which is called the Meeting of the Minds. Now, this is I only host this a couple of times a year, but I genuinely love this event because if it shares, um, we really just have fun and we get to know you all, but we all work together. So this is not the typical event where we're just going to teach and coach and talk the whole time. We really want to hear from you as well. So we'll in the chat, we'll ask some questions and things like that. But what's very cool about this is that you have me and Maria on. I have a few of my students on. Thank you, ladies, for coming on. But we get to work with all levels of experience here. So you're going to see all different types of experience through this. Now, I would love to know who of you has done deals and who of you are new. And what's your strategy of choice? Is it wholesaling, rentals, or flips? Because our slides are catered to you. So I was telling the team today, I said, I never know how the event's going to go because the slides are just general questions. So let's see where we got wholesale, one deal on contract. Yes, I know. I'm so excited for you, Jerry. Anyone else want to share? No deals yet. I went to wholesale, done one deal. Yes, congrats. Wholesaling. You just took classes but need a push. Okay. Starting out, no deals yet, but would like to do more. Two deals via wholesale. Yes. And she's in a state where it's banned. I am new, haven't started. Hi, everyone. Wholesaling, no deals yet. Currently do flips and rentals. Want to work on wholesale too. Love it. Love it. Anyone else want to share where you're at? Let's see. Wholesale deals on deals. I know. Bonita's on fire. I own one rental, need to wholesale flip and own more. Awesome. Okay. So I'm going to keep it really short about me. Okay, Paula, hopefully we can help you a little bit tonight. So my name is Liz. I am Laura's daughter. Some of you may know Laura, not me, or vice versa. Laura is usually on with me and Maria tonight, but she, like I said, is in Iceland for 2 weeks for my sister. She just graduated from UM. It was her grad gift. So they're off having fun in Iceland, and I'm here with Maria. Not a bad thing, not a bad trade-off. I realize how that's worded, but I'm here hosting tonight with Maria. Now, I'm 35 years old, and I say that because I started investing at 25, so I'm hitting 10 years in October. And I solely wholesale, meaning that I don't really do rentals or flips. Maria has more of the answers when it comes to those kind of questions, but I wholesale virtually. So my first ever deal I ever did, I live in South Florida, I live in Boca Raton, is I wholesaled in St. Louis. And so I did it without ever meeting the sellers, having to meet buyers in person, and I built my business in St. Louis. And then in 2019, I branched into St. Pete, Tampa after a deal fell in my lap and I was able to sell it so quickly that I was like, there's got to be something here. I did my research and did that. So I do deals all over the US. I've closed deals in Orlando, I've closed deals in Chicago, I've closed deals in Pittsburgh, in Philadelphia. I've also helped students close deals all over in all 50 states, so that's pretty cool. And what I love about this is I did this so that I can be available whenever. I really wanted a life where I could just do what I wanted to do and like be able to attend all the things. I'm a single mom, so it was really important for me. You see my son in the picture there. It was really important that I could be able to attend all the things. I wanted to attend everything. I laugh. I've been at turkey trots and plays and soccer championships and every soccer practice, all the karate stuff. He's a very active kid. And it was really important that I was able to do that. So I built a wholesaling business. Now in 2020, we all know what happened. COVID hit. And when COVID hit, Laura, who had been trying to get me to coach for a year or two at that point, because she's like, you're doing it virtual, it's so cool. But you have to remember, a lot of people were kind of against the virtual aspect of things before COVID. And that's hard to believe because it was only 5 years ago, but people were so against virtual, where I was like, no, that's how I'm going to build it. So when COVID hit, I had to teach the students overnight how to build their business virtual. And when I did that, and I started seeing the students have these wins and these successes and these deals closing and them realizing, and then as we know, real estate boomed, so their business boomed overnight. It was the game changer I needed to get into coaching. And what I found was I really loved watching these women come in with fears, worries, confident lack of confidence, not knowing what to do, not knowing the steps, to rocking real estate, putting their kids through college without any debt, being able to buy blocks of homes at a time, um, being able to retire. We're going to talk a little bit about that tonight. Different things like that that really changed the game. But I think the biggest was watching their confidence soar, watching these ladies like take what real estate did for me and apply it to their lives, and their confidence just started soaring. And they built a trust within themselves, and that was something that was really important. And so I was like, you know what? I am going to be a coach of REIW. So I joined with Laura as we kind of launched it, and I was more the assistant when we launched it, just kind of helping her out. And then we officially launched it and moved to solely women, I think in 2022. And that's where real estate investing was, because we wanted a community of women. This is a male dominated field. Now we have gotten better. It went from 5% women to I think we're at 33 or 36. I get the numbers messed up. Percent women investors now. That is huge, ladies, in 5 years. Why? Because women are realizing they can do this. They have communities. They're not scared of men kicking them out, or they don't care if men are, because they still men try. I love men, don't get me wrong, but they try to kick the women out of this field. Now I've gotten very lucky that I really haven't experienced too much of it, but I know Laura has, and I'm sure Maria has. We've all had our ways of like get being like taken differently. But what I loved is that the community kind of builds these women up to doing amazing things. And what is even better is we get to share that with you guys. So tonight's going to be really fun because it's not just me and Maria. I really want to hear from you all, but I wanted to give you a little bit about my expertise. I'm also curious who here is interested in doing this virtually. It is so much more comfortable with women. Yes. Or you can be like, am I crazy? Like, is this guy being ridiculous with me? Am I overreacting? And we can be like, yes. Or we can be like, heck no. Oh, you live in St. Louis. I'm going to be there for 3 days in June. I'm seeing Maria too. That's awesome, Paula. I'm glad you're here. Yes. Yeah. So that was why I really love, and I really love REIW. I really do. I feel like it is very different from any other group I've seen out there. And it's a lot of women really lifting each other up. So that makes me happy. Now, Maria, it's your turn.
All right. Okay. So, well, first of all, I was born and raised in Italy, and that's just a coincidence that I happen to have met Laura over 15 years ago now. Wow, time sure flies. I've known her for a long time. I actually met her because I was doing short sales at the time, and she ran across short sales, so I would basically negotiate them for her. But just to give a little bit of my background, so I went to college in Italy, but then I came to the United States for my MBA. And I was set to my goal in life was to become the CEO of a company. Basically, I've been set up with that goal from my parents since I was probably 5 years old. I went to a college that's known for this, for setting up this kind of situation in Italy. And so I had my future, it was all beautiful paper. And then right after my MBA, I joined State Street Bank, which was the largest custodian bank in the world at the time, in Boston. And I discovered that I hated working for other people. I felt like I had to raise my hand to go to the bathroom. Basically, I was on other people's schedule and I only did what I was allowed, what I was told to do and when I was told to do it. And it just doesn't work. I realized then that I really wanted to be my own boss. And so 3 years in, and I was 4 months away from becoming assistant vice president because they were luring me. They were promoting me very quickly. I was doing very well, but I was just very unhappy. And so that third year, basically, I told them I would leave. And that year, because they all pretended that I was taking only 4 weeks of vacation every year, that was a max. That year, I had already taken by July, I had already taken 8 weeks of vacation to travel. And I was a top performer, so they used to let me get away with that. But the bottom line, I realized I'm like, this is just not compatible with the lifestyle that I want to have. That's when I decided to go off on my own. However, it was 2003. And so what I did, we were on the back of 2000. I don't know, for those of you that remember or were even around, that in 2000, the market, it was the dot-com crash. Okay. I mentioned this because I've been through, having been in real estate for a long time or in the market a long time, I've been through a few ups and downs at this point. But with that crash, what happened is that some people that I knew, including my ex-in-laws, they lost over half of their retirement. At that point, what I did is I'm the kind of person, I obsess over things. Not only my background is finance. And so what I did is I took over all their accounts. They were with a huge broker before. So you would imagine they would protect you, but they don't. I took over their accounts, and in 3 years, I beat the market by 15 points every year. And I basically more than doubled their money, which means basically they made it back. They made all their money back by the time I was done. However, in 2006, the writing was on the wall. I knew something was off with the markets because I had been studying them for 14 hours a day, every day for the previous 3 years. And I took everyone into cash, including myself. And I said, something is not right. So in 2007, I decided that I wanted to do something different. And what I was looking at, there was so much uncertainty that, I mean, I don't have a crystal ball. I didn't know for sure what could happen, but I knew something was going on. You can probably think of how it feels right now. There is so much uncertainty out there. And I was thinking to myself, what is the smart thing to do here? If we end up putting money back in the market, it's just going to take it down with everything else. So what I was looking for was investments and income in a place where I would actually benefit from the markets going down if anything went south. And not only where I had 100% control, or as close to that as possible. We never have 100% control over anything, but as close to that as possible as I could. And that's when real estate came in. That's when I realized I got to do real estate. Because in the stock market, you have no control. I mean, all you can do is be out of it. That's all you can do to protect yourself. In real estate, it's a whole different story, because if the market is down, then you buy stuff cheaper. In fact, it's a known fact that the most successful business people in general, and also in real estate, of course, have started during downtimes for that reason, because you just become more disciplined about things and you learn how to do things the right way and not put yourself in harm's way. So it was all actually perfect in that sense. So I came into real estate in 2007, and I wanted to be a flipper, a fix and flip, rehabber. And so it took me 6 months to start, which had I had the ability to join, a group like this one, it probably would have taken me much less time. But while I was going to my RIA events, etc. I really didn't have anybody mentoring me. So I went into a fix and flip. I bought a rehab after 6 months, and this was the summer of 2007. And I mentioned the time because you'll see what happened right after is that we started rehabbing it, and we were ready to put it on the market right before Christmas. Well, right after Christmas, basically 2008, the market crashed. I mean, it went down 50% overnight, virtually. And so what happened is that now I had a problem. I had a property I put money into, and I had paid an overpriced amount for at that point, because real estate is what it is. And there are 100 strategies that you can put into place if you just know where to look. I do not lose money. I do not like losing money. I'm not going to be doing a bunch of work to then just lose money. So what I did is I just searched for what to do. What do you do? I ended up a lease option in the South. I did a lease purchase with somebody. They closed after 2 years. The whole time they were paying my mortgage and all the expenses. So I was breaking even. And 2 years later, they bought the house, and I didn't lose any money. In the meantime, because I was in the market, when the market crashed, people started coming to me with saying that they were losing their house. Could I help them? Could I take it off their hands? Because they knew I was rehabbing. And I started doing short sales, which is basically negotiations with the bank that you do when somebody is about to lose their house and you want to basically save their credit, save them from foreclosure and all these things. There were so many people going through foreclosure, you may remember this, that we had record numbers, that I started doing so many deals. I set up a team. My very first short sale, I made $63,000. So all of a sudden I'm like, whoa, this down market is good. It was incredible. And over time, I've done hundreds and hundreds of deals, hundreds of short sales. And I used to use short sales to find properties for myself to rehab. However, it came to a point where I couldn't rehab fast enough. I couldn't rehab all the properties that were coming to me. I used to deal with like 30, 40 deals every month. It was madness. Those were the times. And so what I ended up doing is I started wholesaling. Because of that, I just couldn't possibly rehab all of these houses, and I didn't want to just waste leads. So I started wholesaling just because I wasn't even thinking that was a thing or that I wanted to go into it. And then I realized how powerful it is, and that had I started with that, I wouldn't even have had to deal with the first rehab that went south, even though I was able to salvage it. But the important thing was to be in the market. So I was happy. I didn't mind at all. The fact is that real estate has been an incredible source of not only financial stability during times when other people were literally losing their homes, but also has allowed me to scale and to do a whole lot of other things. I've gone into rentals. I've done single family homes. I had to actually sell all my rentals several years ago when I divorced. And so now I'm rescaling back right now to be faster, because I'm looking to retire at some point, whatever that means is retire for me, quotes, because the fact is, when you know real estate, I mean, you can do deals when you're 90. That's the beauty of it. You always have the source. Laura calls it the ATM machine. You always, whenever you need money, you can do a deal, and there you go. But I say this because not only real estate has served me so well, but also because it really has made all the difference between going down with everybody else. Because when the economy crashes, there is a famous saying in trading, because that's what I was doing when I was managing assets for other people in the stock market, investing in the stock market. There's a famous saying. It says, a lifting tide lifts all boats, which is the opposite is also true, that a tide, that comes down, that crashes, just crashes everything in its path. And the beauty of real estate is that you don't have to be subject to the market. This is the control I was looking for when I was living through that uncertainty in the markets, that again, very much mimics what we are having right now. There is so much uncertainty out there right now between tariffs, inflation. This is only pointing even in a strong way to real estate for many reasons we will go over later, because I think it would be important to actually talk about what is gone in the economy. But the bottom line is that real estate has been the solution that's made the difference in my life. Especially, I had cancer after my divorce. I had years when I really had to step back. Basically, I had to just diminish, decrease the amount of deals I was doing. Real estate is a type of thing that allows you to dial it up, dial it down as you need. It's basically something that will be with you forever, no matter what is happening in your life. And let's be honest, life happens. The problem is, for example, my family lives in Italy. I'm always thinking, if anything happened to any of them, I would be able to go over there. It would be no problem and continue to do in my business. That was not true. It's one of the reasons I wanted to leave corporate America. That was not true while I was in corporate America. It would have been an issue. I couldn't just say, I'm going to go to Italy for 6 months to be with my family. And so for me, it was a choice of how do I want to live my life? And that's it in a nutshell, basically.
No, and I think you hit on something there. One of the things I always tell the ladies that are our students, I say, now you always know how to make money. You will never not know how to make money. What works may shift, but the basics of wholesaling has been the same since Laura's been in, which is 40 years. It hasn't shifted. Rentals, flips. Who are
Mhm.
you? What I would like to know, we're going to get to know you guys now a little bit there. Oh, before we get into that, we have been featured in the news multiple times. REI Wealth. What's funny is that Trina, the anchor woman here, became a student. And what's funny is we hosted a meeting in person, and she walked in, and everyone in Miami just completely shut up. They were like staring at her like we know her. It was pretty cool. But she became a student. We also host retreats for our students. So we have one coming up here in September. But I also wanted to give you guys something free for showing up tonight. So you can download our free 7 simple steps to successful real estate investing ebook here. It's filled with lots of goodies and tips and tools that you could use. But we're going to kind of get to know you now. We're going to first talk about the 3 pillars of real estate investing, go over roadmap, go over goals and expectations, and then come up with the game plan and support system that you have. Now, before we jump into this, one of the things I want to say is I was doing some research, and you know that 80% of women owned businesses end up failing. Do you know why? If you read my post, you should know. Some of you commented on said post. But do you know why they fail? Let's see who's paying attention tonight and who's not. So if you don't know, just say I don't know. But I'm kind of curious if anyone knows why they fail or what they think the reason for women-owned businesses failing. Mindset, I don't know. Okay, anyone else want to share? Trying to work in a structure doesn't exist. Yeah, there you go, men. Hey, okay, get stuck, men. I love that it's men. Okay, no, so actually got very close with Genevieve. They try to build this real estate investing business or any business the way, yes, what they think they should do. Exactly. She read the post. There we go. What they think they should do instead of around their lifestyle, the life they want, not their current lifestyle. Because if you're trying to get out of it, it's not because of your current lifestyle. It's because we build how everyone thinks we should build our business. And I had a whole call about this with my students today. But we build in a way that it's how we should think it should run. It should run this way. We should do all this stuff. We don't take into account that we're mothers, we're daughters, we're the family support system. We're also running different things. Some of us do have W-2 corporate jobs. We don't take into account to all of that and then wonder why we're miserable running our business. And so women, yes, we can't fit it. We're not meant to fit into men's box. We are women. I personally feel like our boxes are better. So it's like ours are prettier and they are way better decorated. So I'm just saying it's like we try to fit into this thing instead of making it our own, right? And having fun with it. Women aren't meant to run a business like a man. We're meant to run a business like a woman. And when women run and we keep the nurturing in there and we show up for people and yes, exactly. And all that, we are able to really run amazing businesses. And the sellers feel really comfortable working with us because we're naturally nurturing. We show up, we make sure we explain things. We may over explain things, but we explain them and we really make sure to help. And that is used in our benefit. So let's get to know a little bit about you. So, ladies, I had a lot come on since I've asked this. What strategy are you most interested in today? Is it wholesaling, rentals, flips, raising private money? What strategies are you interested in? All right, we got wholesaling, wholesaling, wholesaling. Anyone else? Wholesaling, raising money. Wholesaling, wholesaling. Lots of wholesalers. Fix and flips, new construction, wholesaling, wholesaling, and burr. I'm so scared. It's okay. That's why we're here. Um, I want to learn to flip and rent, wholesaling and raising money, flips, wholesaling, short-term rentals too, wholesaling first to know how to get discounted properties and build portfolio with rentals. The burr method, midterm rentals as well. Okay. Anyone else? Trying to see. Keep going. All right. So that's what you're interested in right now. Love to see it. Now, are you looking to transition out of your current job? Are you looking for it for retirement? Why are you looking for it? What are you trying to do? Transition, retirement, financial freedom. Okay. Leave 9 to 5. Okay. Be my own boss, have flexibility, transition. Anyone else? Okay. Yeah. Out of my current 3 jobs. Yes. I don't know if you saw, I don't know if I did so much content last week. It was either I wrote it or I did a video, it was a podcast. The reason I got into rentals was I was working so many odds and ends jobs, and I said I could work one job and make a lot of money, or I can keep working all of these little jobs and stay broke, less than broke. I wasn't even making ends meet. So I understand that one. That one hit the trigger because I just talked about that. Yes, get out of my job. Okay, good. Retirement. So, what's going on in your life right now that you feel real estate is what you want to do? And I'm going to ante this. My team doesn't even know I'm doing this. For the top 3 people who interact the most, I'm going to send you a roadmap to making 100K in the next 6 months. Just because the tonight is all about interaction. All right. Go big. All right, but what's going on? Why do you want to go big? I mean, I know, but if you want to share, I've wanted my own beach house for years. I love it. I'm actually moving. My goal is to move to the beach in September. I live 5 miles from it. I'm not that far, but I really want to live like wake up, open the windows, and bam. That's something that's been my goal for a while. Knowledgeable and currently disabled. Okay. A punishing 3-year divorce. Understood. I just need freedom. Need. Yes. Why? What does freedom feel like to you? Sadly unstable marriage. Okay. I want to be my own boss. I want to retire myself. Look at that. I've been trying to get started, got into a program which I lost money and I hear that all the time. It makes me really sad. I'm thinking about it. I'd like rentals, but I don't want to fix toilets. We can work around that, Jackie. We can work around that.
Never fixed a toilet in my life. I wouldn't even know where to start. So, but I have rentals, so I don't know
I
about that.
love it. No, I think that's so awesome. We can work around
It's
that. We
so
can help you
funny.
there. But it's like it's little stuff like, but it's not like her, but like I hear things all the time that it's such small things. I'm like, we could work with that. We can get around that. Um, Passive income forever. Yes, that's important. I don't want to work for other people and I want more time with my friends and family. That's fine. That's good. So you want to build this business around you. If you're wanting to spend time with your kids or your friends or your family, one lady, I will always repeat this every workshop. She said, I just want to wake up without an alarm. Because she says I work 7 days a week and I always have to wake up to an alarm. Fly to Italy for real Italian food just because for today. I have been watching TikToks of people going like day trips across the pond, as we call it. And I'm like, that's actually not a bad idea. That'd be really fun. I could visit a lot of places. I will pay someone to do maintenance. Yes. Okay. No, I really want to know why, because sometimes it could be just that. I want to wake up without an alarm. I feel like pasta today. Let's go to Italy. It could be like that. We laugh at it, but it is. I could pick up my card right now and go fly to Italy. Like Maria said, she can do the same thing. There's a magic and a freedom to knowing you can do it. Now, I have a kid in school. He doesn't on Fridays, so you never know. You could see me in Italy next week if I wasn't going to Vegas. Hi, ladies, for my intensive and students. But you can do that. I'm pretty gone. I'm gone most of June, right? You get to have that freedom, but the freedom's going to look different for every one of you. Maria, do you want to say anything along this?
I mean, of course, everybody's going to have their own why. But what I was mentioning earlier, that my biggest why was that I wanted to travel the world. And that wasn't going to happen with my job as well as I was doing, just because the time commitment and the way that I've been running my real estate before we even had all the stuff online, etc. We always laugh about the fact that Laura did the same thing. This technology wasn't available to do virtual at the time. So we would travel. I used to travel with a printer that was like skinny and long. It was literally like
It's
this
like black.
around. And it
Yes.
was amazing. I was so excited about it. But it's a small printer. Because I mean, I used to take it. What I used to do is I would come back to the United States. I used to live mostly abroad at that point. We started moving from country to country every year. Uh, and uh, and I didn't let that stop my deals. I was basically working at night when I was in Thailand, in Dubai, whatever, in Bali. And that's the beauty of real estate. You can
Yeah.
do whatever you want. It just depends on how you set it up. So yeah, I mean, I love these comments about I'm going to go to Italy. Why not? I
Why
don't know.
not?
Everybody should go to Italy, and I'm not just being partial. I mean, it's definitely worth it. But yeah, I used to do like a rehab. I would come back to the States just to check on stuff and do a rehab, one or two rehabs, say 3 to 6 months out of the year. And then I used to live the rest of the time abroad and do my wholesale deals and short sales, etc. So just because I like to do my rehabs in person, you don't even have to do that in person anymore. But at the time we didn't have FaceTime, we didn't have where Zoom, where you can walk the property, somebody can walk the property for you and show you. So what, the sky's the limit today. It's so much easier than it even
It
was almost 20 years ago now when I started. So now I would probably even be able to do rehabs myself, even though I'm a control freak. So I don't know, I still would like to
I
be able
don't
to the
know.
contractors. Yeah.
I had a student that she did that. It took some mindset because she had to go to Israel because her mother wasn't doing well. And she said she got on a call with me and she's like, "Well, I don't think I can go." And I said, "Why?" And she said, "Well, I have a fix and flipping process." I said, "Okay." I said, "Where are you making these calls from? When they call you?" "Well, I'm in my office." "Okay, do you ever really go to the property?" "Well, no." "Okay, so do you think you can make the same calls from Israel?" And she's like, "Yeah." And so she ended up going, right? And it was a good thing she did. So I like to talk about that because I think a lot of it's our own mindset getting in our way. It's our own fears that stop us. It's as small as it's not probably her reasoning, but I'm going to say it because I see it all the time. It's as small as I don't want to fix a toilet to keep us from our passion. And that was just an example, but I have seen reasons that small keep people from moving forward because we're in it. We don't see the bigger picture there, right? We're like in it. And I do it too. I want a house in Europe so I can split my time. Yeah, why not? Why not? Who said you can't? God didn't say you can't. He didn't put it in the Ten Commandments that you can't have a house in Europe, right? So for you, it's the same thing. Yeah. Also, yes, I am the worst in traffic. I am the nicest person in the world until you put me behind a wheel. And I live in Miami. So on top of it, it's all the time. And I would be fine except these drivers in Miami, my Florida ladies know. When you cross the border into Florida, if you didn't see the sign, you're gonna know you're in Florida off the drivers alone. So yeah. But yeah, so that's what I wanted to see. Okay, moving in on. We are now going to talk about the three pillars to real estate. Now, students, if you have done this, I want you to redo it now, okay? Because you probably have your original one saved. So I actually really excited because there's quite a few students on today too, because I want to see where you are, and then you guys have to post in the student group what's different between now and when you first started. But what we're going to do is we're going to talk about the three pillars to real estate here. Now, I want all of you to do this. This is a learning exercise. And if you keep this, If you know what to do under all of this, you will close deals. So the very first thing that you're going to do is this middle part is you're going to put why you're here. You want to learn how to get consistent closings. Even if you make over 100K on your first deal, in today's society, that's not much. You can burn through that very quickly. So instead of just doing one deal, you're looking to bring in a successful business, whether it's passive income, whether it's active income, whatever it is for you, right? So that's really important. You're going to build a business. In order to have a successful business in real estate, you have to have consistent closings. They have to be coming in consistently. Once a week is going to be your minimum soon, Benita, because she says her goal's once a week. Yep, see, she's like, yep, she even got in there. But it should be several a week. But some of you are like, I don't need it that big. You could do once a month. Some people just want to supplement their retirement income. You can do that. But what we're going to do here is we're going to break it down into three sections. So you're going to do leads here. These are the three pillars: marketing and systems. Okay? Now, the very first thing when it comes to your business here is you need to understand leads. Who here has like a fear of like finding seller leads, finding buyer leads, worried about all of that? I'm not going to find interested, things like that. Who's worried they're not going to be able to find that here? Or they're like, I just don't know how, right? So the very first thing that you need to know is how to generate these leads. Okay? Who are the hottest ones on the market? Panic. Okay, well, we'll help you. So who's that, right? One a month would work well. One at all would be amazing. Okay, okay. I have students on here. Students, feel free to share. Are you finding leads? Lead generation. Is leads being the issue right now? Okay, the two that just commented, not an issue. In fact, I think they have so many leads that their MAO skills are getting strong, right? But that's what you need to know, how to do that, right? Leads. Then you need to know how to nurture them and follow up. I say this all the time. 90% of your deals are going to come from the follow up, not the initial reach out. Follow up. Where we all get discouraged is we think the second we get them on the phone, it's going to be a yes and it's going to go to contract. And then what happens? It doesn't happen like that. We get discouraged and we think we are never going to make this work. Think about, yeah, exactly. Think about this. If I were to call you today out of the blue, you didn't even know you wanted to sell, and say, do you want to sell your home? Are you going to be like, yeah, I'm willing to sell to this person. I have no idea who it is and I've never thought about it once? No, it takes time. But how we're taught out there, exactly, how we're taught out there is that's how it should be. It should be that easy. And then that you see one of those things, all of a sudden, most investors don't even make it past that point because they feel like it's not possible for them. I'm here to show you it is, but you got to follow up. Question one, who are you? Exactly. I'm going to call Benita tomorrow. I'm going to sell your house, but she knows me, so she might say yes. All right. Then there is financing and contracts. If you're flipping or you're doing rentals, you want to get your financing in place. Regardless, for all three, you want to get your contracts in place. Who here is terrified of contracts? None of my students better say yes, because y'all put in so many contracts. Exactly. Yeah, it is. It is the secret to success, especially in real estate investing, is the follow-up. Exactly. It's very normal to be nervous. But once you know how to fill it out, you can ask anybody. It's a rinse and repeat. When you make sure you have your contingencies and you know how to fill it out, I'll tell you right now, I review 1 to 2 of my students' contracts, and then they never talk to me again about contracts. They've got it down pat. They know what to do. And I did the same thing. I did the same thing. The first few I had Laura look over, and once I learned what needed to be done, I never asked her again. The only time I ask her now is if it's some weird contingency I need to put in place, and it's how do I word it, right? Other than that, you kind of get to that point. Maria, I think same for you. Of all the students you've reviewed, maybe I don't think they've ever gone past two contract reviews.
Yeah. Yeah. We use pretty straightforward contracts. I mean, they're awesome, really.
They
I
are.
think the contract lengths that I have to use as a realtor sometimes is like 15 pages. So yeah, our contracts, we make sure that people are safe and secure with the right contingencies.
Yeah, and then getting financing, we can talk about that, Kayla. Don't worry. She's so cute. Okay, we'll get there. But getting financing is that also too, we can get ways around it. So a lot of people start in real estate with not a lot of money. If you think about the most successful people in real estate started with no money. The ones that own hundreds of rentals got really, really like really good at being creative, finding solutions, or finding people. I had a lady, her name was Rita, went from 0 to 21 deals in 1 year. But in order to get the first yes, the first rent, she got 21 houses for rent in a year. To get the first yes, she had to call 86 different lenders. The power is not giving up. She knew what she wanted. She wanted the right terms. She did it and then she boomed. 0 to 21 homes, 20 of them needed to be fixed up. And then she rented them out, Section 8, to single mothers out of Cleveland, Ohio. That was her passion. All right. Yes. And everyone that says they have no money, they have several K in the bank. Yes, they usually do. They usually do. How many stories do you hear? I heard one today where she said I had 2K and now she owns $57 million in properties off of that 2K she spent. And she's out of Miami. She's a friend of a friend. Like it's just one of those like it happens all the time. You just get creative. We hope. Now we go into marketing. You talk about branding. Okay. I love this because all of you know where I'm going if you've listened to this. Think of the Nike logo. Do you know that? I have 2K Monopoly money. Yeah. Hey, we can make it work, right? Branding. If you think of the Nike logo, can you think of it? Yeah, the just do it, the swoosh. Everyone knows Nike. Why? Branding. You could see the shoe without even seeing the logo, and you're going to still know that's a Nike shoe. Their branding is impeccable. Even kids know Nike. You want to get like that in your area. Okay. So, one of the things that is really important now, when I go to events, I like to go to events. I like to meet people, network, see what's going on, see if anything shifts. Nothing ever shifts, by the way. I've listened to people's webinars just to see if something new is going to happen that's going to like change the world and all this game changing. No, it doesn't shift. Wholesaling rentals flips. Okay. The stuff hasn't changed. But here's the thing. Everyone that brands themselves, when I go to events, you know what they're asking me for? It's not a business card. What's your social media? Let me see your Instagram. Do you have a digital business card? Because then they know they can download it and reach out to you at any time. Branding is important. I get asked my IG more than I get asked my phone number because that's the way marketing is. Digital is everything, right? If you have online presence, let's like I do this. Who of you Googled us once you like learned about any event? Because some of you probably been in our world longer than tonight. Yeah, you Googled. If nothing came up for us, would you have came tonight? No website, no biography, any and Instagram. Yeah, right? Probably not. Why? There's no credibility. Even if you just have a face, now if you Google my name, it's everywhere. Like literally, it's like 3 pages. My name is also very rare. I got lucky there, which is weird because now I think about it, all of our names are very rare as REIW coaches. Like you could Google any of us, and but still, right? Because some beginner pose. Exactly. Branding builds credibility. Even if you just have a Facebook page, you do not need a website to be successful. I don't have one for the real estate side. I had a landing page for a few years that took me 6 hours to put together that put 3 words on it. And it was just the worst thing ever. And people would go to it for the longest time. You don't need it anymore. Branding. Then we do our KPIs, key performance indicators, measuring your results. You need to know how to measure your results. You need to find out what of your marketing efforts are working and what aren't. We call it split testing. I was talking to my team about this today. Split testing. Try different ways, see what works, take away the ones that aren't working that well, and put more money to what does. Because then what you can do then is it becomes scalable. What happens when you're able to scale? More money, more deals, right? And then we move into this. This is actually the last thing that I have any of the students do because if you're not knowing how to pull leads, you don't know how to market, you have no reason to be in the systems. Anyone who gets you to join and then immediately tells you you can buy this entire system and it's going to help solve your life and solve all your problems with the click of a button, they're just trying to get money out of you. Okay? That's not how this works. Your system should be built after you know what you're doing, after you know how to get the lead gen, the lead nurturing, the financing, and all of that. Okay, don't worry. We'll come back, Melissa, if you want. I have a Q&A. All right. So what we do here is your system is dependent on your strategy, meaning that if you're wholesaling, that system is going to look very different than if you're doing rentals or flips. Okay? It looks different. How I run a wholesaling business is going to be very different than how I run a rentals business, right? It's very different. Then what happens is the fun part, automation. I would love to know who of you would like to close deals from anywhere in the world? St. Lucia, Japan, England, Italy, Hawaii, Alaska, your couch, the Caribbean, cruise ships. I've done all of those places. Why? Because it's automate while sleeping, automation. Some of my students are waking up to deals sitting in their inbox. Why? They get the leads brought to them. And then last but not least is once you do that, you're going to build what's called a consistent model, a rinse and repeat method, where you're able to do that while cruising to Europe. Exactly. Consistent model here. So now I want to know, and this is where I'm curious to see some of my students' answers on this too. I want to know, where do you feel you are? Red means you have no earthly idea what I'm talking about. Yellow means you kind of have it, you started implementing it. And green means I am the next Liz and I'm the next Liz and Laura and Maria, and I can coach and I'm going to rock this. Where are you at? If you're brand new, I expect it all to be red. Yellow to green. Red, red, yellow. Yellow. Anyone else? Red. Yellow, almost green. Yellow, yellow. Okay. Yellow to green. Red, but I'm familiar. Okay. Yellow, red, yellow. How does that feel for some of you that are saying yellow, green? Because I guarantee you, a lot of you were red, even just a couple of months ago. Yeah. Red, yellow, maybe, but no deals. Okay. That's okay. Who'd have thunk? I know, right, Lee? Who would have thought of that? So I want to see that, and you guys can post it in the student group because I'd be curious to see your difference, especially if you have the beginning one. So now I want to ask you something, getting closer to bigger things. Lots of education and license, yes. The dream question. What has to happen by the end of 2025 in terms of your life and real estate business for you to consider the growth and transformation a dream come true? I know that was a hefty question. But what has to happen by the end of 2025 for you to feel like I did this in my real estate business? It's going to be different for every single one of you. Let's see. Close a deal, paying off debt, and quitting my 9 to 5. 11 deals closed. Be comfortable. What does that mean for you? Be comfortable. Anyone else want to share? Closing deals so I no longer have to worry about finances. Genevieve, you're so freaking close. You're going to closing. Having at least one rental in 2025. Closing deals, close a deal, paying off some debt, pulling the trigger. Yep, paying off debt. Close 3 deals by the end of the year. Anyone else? List of buyers, close the deal and pay off debt, buying a duplex. Look how different some of these are. All debt paid, assets to leverage for more deals. My app gets funded, and so I gotta start my real estate life and have at least 3 rentals and move from St. Louis. Where do you want to go, Paula? I moved from St. Louis in 2015. Closing deals consistently and paying off debts, have an Airbnb. Test my system while traveling Europe. That would be fun. That's a cool like goal to have by the end of the year. Go travel and see how well it works. Hard to feel my brain is wrapped around what that can should look like. Okay, let's talk about that. We'll talk about that. All right. So I just wanted to give you another offer if you didn't get this because you came on a little late. My team will post the link so that you can download this. Okay. Making 30K since it's already June. Okay, so we have a 30-day system that gets our students to put deals under contract in 30 days or less. Do you think you could close 3 to 4 wholesale deals if you could know how to do deals in 4 weeks or less? Do you feel like that's possible for you? Students, I know you know it's possible. You've seen it, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Okay. Just want to see. So then my question for you is the obstacle. What do you feel is your biggest roadblock or challenge that prevents your dream from becoming a reality? Oh, Andrea, I have a challenge that I do with the students their first 30 days. It's going to start in June, where they can get deals under contract in 3 to 4 weeks or less. Do I really want that truth? Yes, I do. Mindset, crazy end buyers, low funds. The buyers, I laugh. Finances, my job and mindset, lack of confidence, information, learning to analyze deals, crazy end buyers, confidence. Yeah, what's your biggest thing? Crazy emotional sellers, terrible non-supportive husband, but I've got this. I understand. So let me answer some of these. I'm sure Maria can answer some of these. Let's talk about confidence. Confidence is built by action. If you feel like you know what to do, you get the steps, you have people cheering you on. Do you feel like, and you start doing the steps, you start seeing a yes? Because what's really going to happen here is I just need to get you to get your first yes, and so you can see it's possible. I could get you to getting your first yes tomorrow, right? So if I can get you there, doing well. Rejection, the biggest thing it is a huge confidence builder. The biggest thing with rejection here is it's going to happen, but they're not rejecting you. You have to remember they're rejecting your offer. They're rejecting the solution. Maria says this beautifully. She says, "I'm not lowballing you. I'm giving you a solution that we can work with." She says something along the lines of that. Maria, you said it once. I said that was genius. I wrote it down and I've used it ever since. But it's like it's just giving you a solution. To be honest, I can't think of anything. Okay, Benita, I would love to know. And when you joined at the end of December, what were your biggest roadblocks, right? Because now, of course, you've broken through them. Group support is amazing. Mindset, accountability. Yes, confidence. Okay. I'm reading all your answers. Frustration that I've studied for long and haven't done much at all. Okay. Maria, do you want to answer any of these? Any
Yeah, I
that
was going
jump
to
out to you?
say some of the
Yeah.
things, I mean, it all makes sense, right? Because normally our fears, I just wanted everybody to notice, I'm looking at all the answers for fears. And if you notice, for example, Melissa was saying that the fun part for her is finding deals, but she's afraid of finding cash buyers and contracts, which is interesting because a lot of people are afraid, Melissa, you'll be surprised to hear, of what you consider to be fun, which is finding deals. Now, what does that tell you, though? It tells you that fear is not really objective. It's not like there is actual something that's happening in a transaction in real estate that is like objectively scary. It's just that we come from our own personality or our own ideas about things most of the time because we haven't done it. We think something is either fun or scary or whatever it is. So the reason I'm pointing that out is because when you know that it is subjective, then you know that there are also people that think that's great. Like Liz and I, for example, happen to think that all of it is great and it's all just as fun as finding deals. It's just a matter of, do you have the right steps? And really, that's what we focus on because we know that once we teach someone the how, they realize that really the emotional piece of it is just like, get it done. One of our favorite sayings in the group is actually Liz's saying that we're having shirts made with this because it's brilliant. Because you
I
guys,
have a blanket. Oh, it fell, but I
I
have
love
a
it.
blanket.
Because you guys know, I mean, we are perfectionists. That's just how it is. I think it's a woman thing. I mean, and I think it's crazy because there is no such thing. We hold ourselves to such crazy high standards. And so Liz has this amazing saying. She says, do it messy. Like we cannot know everything that's going to happen. The point is take your first step and then take the second step and basically keep going and just deal with whatever comes up. Now, what we do from our end is make sure that you stay safe. And the reason I say that is because I know, for example, contracts are a big deal for a lot of people. We're like, oh my goodness, contract, what am I getting into? And that's why we have systems around these things. Sometimes the way to deal with emotions is to systematize the thing you're doing so that the emotion really, you can have the emotion while knowing at the same time having the confidence of saying, yeah, but nothing bad is going to happen. So, for example, I see a lot of posts here about, for example, the funding. Some people think that you need to have funding to do these deals, but when it comes, for example, to wholesaling, which is what a lot of people start with, you don't have to. But I'm saying that's definitely an option that Liz does basically exclusively. I have done so many wholesale deals. Laura is the same. The reason we've done that, we never had to put our a dime in. So you really have nothing at risk other than a little bit of your time. So there are so many ways around this. And this is why I wanted to point it out because the bottom line is that really fear is just stemming from the fact that you're not familiar with certain things, which is completely understandable because when you have like a black hole in front of you, you have no idea what's there. And that's the key to conquering that fear that might be holding, to get these systems. And while their fear might be holding you back to something that's going to be amazing for you. Again, I talk about the fact that this lady, I love it. She goes, oh, finding deals is the fun part. I'm like, I love that. It's fantastic. What a great mindset.
But that's the thing, because to me, buyers, where she's scared of it, that's how I got into real estate, was working with buyers. So buyers are like my favorite part of the business. It was actually the last part of my personal business that I delegated out because I loved it so much. So it goes to show you where we put the emphasis of fear on. And one of the things that I do with the students is every week we're talking about overcoming fears. It's mindset, it's mindset. And one of the ladies said what she found was so different. And another lady said she stayed in the group she's been in the group for going on like 2 years. She said, because no one talks about the mindset portion. With us, we have all these fears. Think about it. When it comes down to what I'm reading, this is all fear. Every step, I don't know what to do. Confidence, steps on this, helping with this, things like that, right? It's fear. I need the steps. I don't know what to do, right? Finding cash buyers is not a problem for me, right? We're like the opposite. It's like, hey, we got this side we got to worry about. The mindset part is what keeps us going. And I was telling one of the students today, I said, I will repeat over and over the same thing because it will come up over and over within your career. It comes in different stories and different beautiful excuses, but fear is going to be there. The question is, are you going to have fear keep you stuck? Right? I love Drive for Dollars, especially in St. Louis, Paul. I'm doing it when I go there at the beginning of June. It's amazing. It gets 30%. Actually, one of the students on tonight, I'm pretty sure she got her deal from Drive for Dollars. But are you doing it right? Are you, Genevieve? There you go. I thought it was you. Are you doing it right? Are you, because the other issue I see, and this is not to knock other coaches, they teach very outdated methods. Why? because they're not investing themselves. And when you're not investing, you're not staying up to date with things that change overnight. What worked a month ago, how to present yourself a month ago changes, right? I'm going to do Drive for Dollars while I'm in St. Louis. I'll go live. Paula, you should watch that. My job has a code of ethics stating employees cannot be involved in real estate. Maria, do you know anything on that?
No, I used to work for a bank, as I said. No, and I don't know
Quit.
why that would be. I don't know why that would be in the code of ethics, like somehow real estate. It's like we're going to take this section of the economy. We're just going to say it's randomly unethical to do that. It's kind of,
Yeah.
I'm sure there was some detail there that they were thinking of, but it seems very, very strange because what does even being involved in real estate mean? Doesn't mean that you cannot invest because technically I'm assuming they're okay with you owning your house. So what happens if you need to move away from your house and you end up renting it because that's what you need to do or for whatever reason, then are you being unethical? You know what I mean? It's like a slippery slope when you decide. It seems a little bit illogical to me. And again, obviously I don't want to you work at the bank, so you have to do what you have to do. But that seems very strange to me. I would look at the details of what that is, and I would,
What that means.
yeah, because it's not really, it doesn't really make a lot of sense.
I like that someone said quit. Now, I'm not going to say go ahead and quit, but also figure out what you want to do. What is super important for you to move forward, right? And also find the loopholes. That's all I'm going to say on that because we're public. So find the loopholes through every contract has them. Find the loopholes. I am a notary signing agent and most definitely am active wholesaling. Yes. Now, my gift question for you. What could you use the most support from us and the other attendees today to make your dreams come true? Who of you said 2025 was going to be the year I shifted everything and now we're halfway through and there are no shifts? So what could you use? Yes, exactly. I know I'm speaking to some of you because I'm the same way. I had my own dreams and I got fed up like a few weeks ago and now I'm working on it because I'm like, we're halfway through. What are we doing? Right? So what could you use the most support? Learn how to make it happen. Okay, hands-on experience. Can you do hands-on virtually though, Paula? Curious. If I shared my screen and showed you how to do things, and you just mimicked it for where you are, which I have a successful business in St. Louis, so you don't even have to go far, could you do it? Step by step. Again, if I shared my screen and showed you how to do it, could you? Students, feel free to answer about your first deal. Okay? Yeah, could you? Now, the other difference is here is Maria, while she is also an agent, she does a lot of her business virtual, even though her business is in St. Louis. hmm Oh, Jerry, I'm not paying for my students to say this, by the way. I had them come on so we could all mastermind together, okay? So that's there. 3 months to first deal. Yes. Why 3 months? It depends how much learning. Then you have to put the contract out anywhere from 4 to 6 weeks out. So let's say the average student closes between month 2 to 3, the average. But there's 6 weeks of that from the time they got the deal under contract to actual close. Okay? Actual closing because you have a 6 week time frame. The expected time to get to close. Yes. Literally put the step-by-step course to test. I quote Bonita all the time. She's like, I challenged Liz just to tell her she's wrong. And I closed a deal instead. It's my favorite quote today. I literally have it saved on my phone when she said that. Depends on your time and ambition. It does. But if I can get you to get sellers to say yes tomorrow, Terry, you could have deals closed, right? Took me 5 weeks to first deal close in 10 days from today. Look at that. Starting December, closed February 25th. She's closing. You closed wholesaling deals. Yeah, yeah. These are all wholesaling deals, by the way, the ones the current ladies are talking about. I do have rentals and flippers in my world too. Took us 5 months, had myself and partner on the same. Yeah, yeah. But you guys are now rocking it. I cannot believe how insane it is with you guys. But there is. And for the ladies that I see that took longer, it was mindset. It really was when I like break down, they say I had to get my life together or I had to get my brain together. Yeah, exactly. I had to get something together. I had to get fed up with myself. I had to get it fed up with how much I was paying and not doing anything. You know, different things come in there. But it's fear. I tell Lise all the time, when you procrastinate, it's fear, right? I know, Marcella. I'm so excited. By the end of the year, those of you saying you could do 3, 4, 5 deals, that's doable. That is more than doable. Now, the average wholesale deal is 10K profit. Average. I have students who have made more. I have students who had made less. But the average that we try to get is 10K. What would that do for you to make 30, 40, 50K in the next 6 months from the zero you're starting with now? A lot of motivation here. That's why I love masterminding. Because if you notice, all we're doing is asking questions and having you help each other. Why? Because that's community. What's going on in my Facebook group right now with the students? I sit there and like giggle while like I'm going about to go to bed, like scrolling with all the wins they're having and how much they help each other out. Yes, we're there, we're helping, we're coaching every day, but they also help each other out, right? I need to do 30 to 40. Could you do that by the end of the year? If you had the steps, I got you to break through, I got you to get yeses. Major pivots would happen. Yes. Community and partnership. Yes. I have a full-time job and work overtime too. It's very extensive. How many hours a day? Good question. I have a lot of students working full-time. I have students who work 7 days a week. One student works 16-hour days during tax season, so you can imagine her closing deals. If you can give me 30 minutes to an hour a day, you can get deals under contract. You have to be highly, highly specific in what you're doing, right? But you can do it. And we teach you how with your 30-day, like first 30-day steps. You are who you hang around with. I'm here every chance I get. I love that. Yes, I get on some of the other students' calls, like all the other coaching calls, just because I like being in my own community. I do. I go on and listen. I jump in. I'm on the Monday calls, even though sometimes I don't have to be. 30 days. So yeah, so it's a 30-day quick start that gets deals under contract. I cannot guarantee closing, okay? This is under contract because you have to remember 4 to 6 weeks out from when you get it under contract is when the closing is set for. Okay? Okay. All right, so let's keep going. So I wanted to share this. Now, so I'm just going to share this just because she talks about the community. So this is one of her students. I hide some of the names. She did put this in the public group though. Okay? She did put this publicly. So this is out there publicly. But what she said is she's in the group. She says last night's mindset call was very much needed. I think she was referring to the day. The community and being connected to the positive energy has been everything. I've done mindset work before, feels like forever, but this is the first time I've ever stuck with an affirmation routine and the first time I've ever really begun to feel a shift in my mindset and in my actions, and more than anything, my confidence. And I know that a lot of that has to do with being here, Liz and Laura and everyone in this group. You all have helped me to give myself permission to become a real estate investor, to do it scared, make mistakes, learn, and keep pushing forward. You've helped me realize that this dream of mine is for a reason. And as Laura said last night, I can have it all. We all can. As far as my business, just waiting on my LLC to be here before I get going. But here's the part that I love is that she is talking about people in the community that gives her the inspiration. That's what's important here. We push you through, right? So then I want to talk about the different rules of thumb. Wholesaling, as I show. Oh, Maria, you can talk about this. You talk about this. I'll let you talk here. I've been
Yeah.
talking.
So yeah, the three segments, basically how we segment real estate normally is based on exit strategies for any property. So we have wholesaling and buy and hold and fix and flip, as Liz was mentioning earlier. And so we kind of have goals that we aim for on average when we do a deal. So you have the expectation, you know what to expect at the end. And so for wholesaling, the average profit really, in my opinion, is really the minimum profit that you're going to have on a deal is 10,000. It might happen that you may have to close a deal rather than, lose it, and you might make $8,000 like Bonita. I'm sure she was fine with that. As long as you close, that's what really what matter. We also have people, and I don't know, Liz, if you're going to be showing what you did, but we also have records from people that a whole lot more than that. And I don't want to spoil this.
I'll show. I think I kept it on one of the slides because it's still my pride and joy. I'll show it.
Yes, of course. And then for buy and hold, we tend to want at least $300 per door. In reality, depending on what you're buying, really, you could do $500, $600. Obviously, you can always do more. And then we have fix and flips, where we use an easy formula to calculate what you're aiming for, which is 15% of ARV, where ARV stands for after repair value, meaning whatever the value of the house would be once it's been fixed up, you want to make about 15% of that.
Yeah. So 300 per door, good question, means so like a single family has one door, so it's one unit, right? A duplex has two doors because it's two units, triplex, three doors, quadruplex, four doors. So that's what it means. So that means if you have a quadruplex and you're doing 300, you should cash flow after everything is said and done, what's actually going into your bank account should be $1,200 a month minimum. This is minimum. I have seen students make a lot more. Rita, her average was 500 to 700 per door on those 21 homes. So she got to making 10,000 passive income very, very quickly, right? But we say minimum if you really want the deal and you're like, I want this house, then make sure you're cash flowing a minimum of 300. So now what we're going to do is we're going to break it down for you. So you're going to write today over here. We're going to get into Q&A here in just a moment. Yeah, 300 a month cash flowing. And you're going to write 1 year. So now what I want you to do over here is how much money on a monthly basis do you want to make and what strategy? Put that in the chat. And we're going to break down very, very quickly on what that will look like for you. So let's see. Okay. Jerry, I'm assuming wholesaling. 50K a month. How much do you want to make and in what strategy on a monthly basis in the year from now? So taking into account that you know what you're doing, you've gone through training, you've received the help that you need. How much do you want to make a year from now? So by the beginning of summer next year, what position do you want to be? So Jerry said 50K a month, and because I know her strategy and I know it's wholesaling, I put it under wholesaling, right? Okay, 10K per month. We're going to do rentals since I know you wanted to put both, but we're going to do rentals here. Do I get any fix and flippers? Maria, you have all the knowledge of math, so I'm going to let you do rentals and fix
I
and
literally
flip.
am using my calculator right now because we used to use 250, but it's now 300. And I'm like, okay, what's 10,000 divided by 300?
You went up because of inflation. Got to inflate the
I
cash
know.
flow.
Well, it's wise. I like it.
Okay. And then let's just say 15K monthly rent, fix and flip, but it's going to look a little different because fix and flips are a different animal. So if you're doing 50K wholesaling and we're being conservative of 10K per profit deal, how many deals do you need to do? Yep, 5. Now, I have students making 30K, 35K, 41K on one deal. But I like to be conservative. So if we say that, that's 5 deals a month. Jerry, in a year, at the rate you're going, do you see you doing 5 deals a month wholesaling? Yes, of course. Yeah. Okay. So if you easy, exactly. If you say 10K a month, yes, it's possible. She's doing it. She's telling you, I'm not paying her, I promise. She's here on her own free will. I invited the students, and she said easy. It is possible. Okay. All strategies equal millionaire. I like that. So if you're saying 10K, if you knew everything of what you could you do that? 1 deal a month if you're saying 10K in wholesale? If you're not going to turn deals away, so you're going to be doing way more because there's like, you know what? I reached my 10K threshold for the month. I can't do any of these deals flowing into me. I don't want the money. I don't want the extra 30, 40K. You're not going to do that because that was my goal too, was 10K a month. If I got to 10K a month, I would do well. I'd be fine. Now it's like, yeah, exactly. You're not going to stop. You're not going to say no when the second deal comes in for the month, right? So 5K, doable, especially if you're waking up with deals in your inbox. Okay. Love this. Love. Look at all the ladies doing math. Okay. 10K a month rentals, Maria,
Yeah,
300 per door.
I'm gonna show off my math now. So my trusty calculator says that's 33.33 doors. So let's just call it 34. And now, how do you get to 34 doors? You don't have to buy single family homes. So, like for example, because I am in a hurry to build my passive income, I'm buying four families. So how many of that is that? That's eight four families and one duplex, for example. Or you can do like what Rita did and put 20 properties on a contract. It might take you a year and a half, and that's okay. But it is 34 doors.
Okay. And then if they're wanting to do 15K a month fix and flip, I know we group this differently, but I want them to kind of see what it would look like. What would that look like for them? 15K times 12. What
That
would that?
really is so low for a fix and flip,
Yeah.
15K, that you would have to stop yourself and only do one fix and flip every 2 or 3 months. Otherwise, you're going to pass that. Your first flip is probably going to be $30,000, $40,000 on the low side, on the low end of things. So, as I said, basically, you do a fix and flip and you go on vacation for 2 or 3 months and don't do anything. That would be how you make only 15,000 a month for fix and flip.
So yeah, so with the fix and flip, you have the 15% ARV. So that means that even on a 300K house at 15%, you're going to make 45K on a 300K. That's what you want to make after everything's said and done. All right? So she's right. Like if you're only trying to do that. So for you, I want you to think, and ladies, I want you to write this down. In 1 year, based on the goals you have for yourself, what is the minimum you want for yourself per month? I say minimum because it's going to be more than that. If you do what we're telling you what to do, and I know my students see it, but if you do what we're telling you what to do, you're going to make a lot more than the minimum you're setting for yourself. 30K a month. You could do that. The rate, especially the rate you're going. You, Jerry, Bonita, like, yes, Lee. Lee, I just need to get Lee in here. Yes. Could do that. Right? 50K, Jasmine, no problem. Right? So that's what I want for you. That's doable. But my question for you is why? Why do you want to make that kind of money? 100K per month. Bonita, closing every week. That's doable, right? So why do you want to make that? What's the money going to do for you? Because I tell people all the time, if your why does not make you cry, it's not strong enough. Your why has to overstep and trump your fears. It has to push them to the side. Take me to Italy. Yeah, exactly. We're all going to Italy. REIW takes over Tuscany. We actually talked about that once, by the way. Yeah, we'll never again be homeless. Yes, that was one of the reasons, Susan, for me. Um, Better life for my kids. Buy a castle in Italy. Yes. Recoup the money and mistakes I've made. Yes. To relax about money, to be able to do what I want. I word it this way, I want to breathe. That was my why in the beginning, was I want to breathe because I was suffocating. I was checking my bank account, scared every day because it was already negative and more things would come through. And some reason the bank would let it, which would put the $35 overdraft fee. I didn't have food in the house. I lost 50 pounds in 3 months because I couldn't eat, so my son could. I was having panic attacks because of life. I was stressed out when I got into real estate. I was miserable. I look at pictures of me in 2015 when I thought and everyone said, "Oh, you're glowing." And I see misery. Why? Because I was suffering. And that was my why. I was about to be kicked out of my apartment. My son was about to be kicked out of daycare. I was losing everything. I had already lost everything. I was going through a divorce, so I was really dug deep. And I was tired of checking my bank account and seeing negative and getting paid just to be negative again. It was horrible. So when I say I understand, and Maria says we understand, it's because we had to start at zero too. All of us did. And so the why has to be like, I never want to do that again. Where I am now, I don't have to worry about that. My kitchen is full of food. I'm taken care of. My bank account, I check maybe once a week, and that's because I have a shopping habit and I need to make sure no one stole my credit card online. My bills are on auto pay. That I drive my dream car, lifted Jeep Wrangler. Best car ever, by the way, if you like Jeeps. They're wonderful. They're worth it if you're a Jeep girl. But that was something that mattered to me. And I don't say it to brag. I go to show you where life takes you. Yes, I have a four-door white Jeep lifted power top. Best thing in my life ever. I drive it everywhere. Yep. Okay, Broncos. There you go. So I want you to think about that. So what we're going to do is I'm going to have Maria kind of give you the roadmap here, a little bit of a roadmap. And then I want to open up for questions and all of that, but I wanted to make sure that you kind of see where this could go. So Maria?
Yeah. So we have basically split the process into phases because there are small chunks so that you get the step-by-step process. So there is no guesswork involved basically at that point. So we start by choosing the right area because not all areas are created equal, as I'm sure you know. And we show you how to decide which areas are going to be worth your while because we believe in kind of fishing in a barrel. When you are in the right area, that's how it is compared to an area where it's not just not going to work. And then we also focus on something that Laura has come up with. She separated, there's a million ways of finding properties, but some ways take longer than others. And Laura came up with this system where she basically separates the what we call quick wins that allow you to put stuff under contract in a few weeks. So in 4 to 6 weeks, that's why we can say you can absolutely, if you follow the process, you can absolutely put stuff under contract. Now we show you again the acquisition marketing, everything you need to do, how to negotiate, how to speak with sellers, how to speak with buyers, basically anything that you might have doubts about, we break it down. And then how to write contracts so again that you are protected. And so if the deal for some reason doesn't work out, you can just walk away, no problem. And then how to exit your first deal. Now that can happen very quickly. We have people, as you've seen, that are closed very quickly. I have a lady that I've been coaching and she put something on the contract 3 weeks under I started coaching her. Just to give you another example, this is absolutely doable. It really depends on you if you're going to jump in, like we said, or you have mindset issues that hold you back. That's why we do so much mindset, because we know as women, we're always beating ourselves up, which is unfortunate because the moment that we get out of our own way, great stuff happens. So after that, of course, then we want to set you up to where, because really the first deal is where it's at mentally, everything switches after your first deal. So after that, it's really just a matter of rinse and repeat. So we show you how to start scaling in terms of doing more deals. And after that, you can absolutely systematize at that point. For those of you that are interested in doing, like Jerry was saying, she wants to do 5 deals a month. In a year's time, that's not even an issue. Like even in 6 months, the key is to again, follow the process because we do break it all down so that you don't have to worry about what happens, when I go to closing. We are like, okay, right now let's focus on the first step. How do you choose your area, find your leads, et cetera, et cetera. This is a great way of dealing with fear, is when you break stuff down and you only focus on the thing that's right in front of you instead of thinking of all the 100 things that could happen afterwards. So we have broken this down not only so that it's highly effective in terms of the real estate, but it's also extremely effective in keeping those fears at bay. Now, I will tell you, I myself, and I've even written a book where I've said this, as I mentioned, I've gone through a lot of crap in my life, especially during my divorce. I was left, I'm a single mom. My ex-husband went MIA. He actually lives in Thailand. I don't even know if he's dead or alive. I've not heard from him in years. And I had divorce. I had cancer basically the day after I was still in the hospital from giving birth to my daughter. The day after they took me in for a CT scan and they found out that I had cancer. It all happened at the same time for me 9 years ago, and my world collapsed. However, I can tell you that basically based on that, I discovered that you can do things with fear. In fact, for me, when I see fear now, when I feel fearful about things, I know that good stuff is about to happen. Because if you notice, if you think about it for your own life, when have you felt fear before? Normally, we feel fear, of course, unless it's physical fear. I'm talking about emotional fear. We normally feel fear when something exciting that's going to take us out of our comfort zone is about to happen. And it makes sense to be fearful of real estate because I think we all know subconsciously, and looking at what is possible out there, I mean, real estate is everywhere. We know that it's going to change our life if we give it a chance. That's why a lot of us, when I see people being fearful, normally it's not fear of failure, it's fear of success, which is a much more common fear, believe it or not. And Liz is great at doing the mindset piece. So certainly don't want to steal anything, that from you. But at the same time, I've seen this in my own life that normally we are just afraid that our life's going to change so much. We want to recognize ourselves. But you know what? Screw that. Screw the old life. The fact is, why should other people have all of this? You know how many houses are changing hands just during this workshop.
Yeah.
Why should you not be closing something a month from now, 6 weeks from now? Ask yourself that, because that's when we go deep into these questions when we realize that there's really no reason, no objective reason. It's just that we don't want to let ourselves shine. And that goes into a whole new thing because of how we
It does.
live. But at the same time, keep in mind, as I said, I have my motto, which is all things worthwhile lay on the other side of fear. And I live by this, and it's always been the exact situation for me.
Definitely. So what I want to do is I know someone asked earlier, we are going to offer for you to schedule a call and see what it's like to work together. See if we're even able to help you, right? So we're going to ask a series of questions during the workshop or during the call with my team. You're going to meet with Doreen. She's on today. Say hi, Doreen. And so you're going to be able to meet with her and thanks, Jerry. I swear I'm not paying them. Um, and and see what it's like to work together. We have different programs depending on what you need. So I'm not going to go into any one program tonight. But the link is in the chat. If you want to click that link, you're able to click that link, pick a time that works for your schedule. Please make sure it's in the right time zone for you so you can get the right times. And then you will receive an email with that. But what we're offering is just to get on a call and see if we have a program that matches what you need. Okay? Depending on the level of support you have, what are your goals? Are we able to get you there? If we are not able to help you, we are not going to take your money. We are not that kind of coaching program. If my team feels like they cannot help you, that it's not going to be a good fit, they're going to tell you that. Okay? Whether it's they don't think, maybe you want to be in, by the way, we don't do commercial, but maybe you mentioned that you want to commercially invest or they feel like it's just not a good fit, they're going to tell you that. So that way you're trusted to know that we're not going to just take your money and take it. All of my coaches invest. There's 5 of us. We all invest. We do this because we want to give back. We don't do this because we need the money. We do this because we want to give back, okay? So definitely schedule a call and let's talk and see where we can get you through. In the meantime, we are going to go into a Q&A, but I did this really cool thing where I went and found my team's categorizes like testimonials of different things, and I just went ham. I'm not reading all these, by the way, but I went ham and just found all the ones that they were like categorizing in their sheet. And the ones that kind of applied to tonight. And these are shared publicly. As you can see, these are screenshots. I do block names for privacy reasons. Okay. And so I wanted to just kind of show you this. The other benefit, though, I forgot to say, thank you, Maria, is if you book a call tonight, we will give you a 20% discount if you book tonight. Okay. So if you book tonight, we'll give you 20% off, depending on the program that you choose. All right. So I just wanted to show, we have a lot of testimonials here. I'm sorry, they're a little blurry. I think it's because they're getting like blown up on the screen. but just different testimonials of people that have gone through and been able to do deals. What I love about the first one is she closed her deal. She said I'll net around 60K after all expenses. That's like a full year's salary. Which then shows me because I know Benito's saying show the check, which is funny because I almost took it off because I'm like, it's been 6 months. I didn't know if it'd be like, whatever. But this is a check of my biggest closing cost to date, my biggest profit to date. It's $122,440 on one wholesale deal. Now, I will say this. I had another coach do it a year and a half before. They made 111,000 and I said, bet I want to top this. I was like, I got close. I got real close a few times on my profits. So I've made a lot more, like 90K, 100Ks. Okay. But I never got past the 111. And then on November 22nd, at the end of last year, I closed my deal at 100. Thanksgiving, by the way, holidays when you're not supposed to be able to do real estate works very well during that time. $122,440.67. And I share this why. What would that kind of money do for you? On one deal, this isn't a series of deals. You see, this is one check. They wired it to me, so they would not let me have a picture of this. I was like, please send me a picture. Please give me a picture of this. That's the picture I got. I said, I just want to show people it's possible. They knew I was an investor. So anyway, did that do for you, ladies? Are we just blown away? We just can't talk? We don't know? I don't think I almost took the slide out, but then it came requested. Yeah. And I show it to show what's possible. Now the average is 10, but I have students averaging, I would say average of what I'm seeing. If you take the bigs and the slower, like the lower, it's about 25 to 35K a deal, average. I do see some lower. I just had a student close for 26K. Benita at the airplane, she's like, I'm gone. Like, peace out, Italy, here I come. Right? But yeah, pay off my mom's house. Financial freedom. It could do a lot. And that's one check. Imagine having multiple checks that reach 30K, 40K, sometimes in the same months. I had a student make 41K on two deals last month. That's what I hope it's doing. I'm hoping it inspires you. I don't want you to see that and be like, that's not going to be me. I want you to see that and do exactly what I did. I'm going to top her. Actually, Benita, I need you to write it. Let's screenshot it. I'm going to challenge Liz. I'm going to top her check. Because guess what's going to happen? You will. Now, it took me a year and a half. It took me a year to get a lot of deals, got a lot of deals pretty close. Not upset about those high amounts, by the way, even the close ones. But when I closed this and when they told me what I was going to profit after everything was said and done, I said, I fucking did it. I was so happy. I didn't say anything to nobody knew that this check was happening until it closed because I was like, I'm not jinxing it. All right, challenging this check. Yes, I want to take it as inspiration. You guys can do this. 123K. She's going to be like 122,440 and 68 cents. That's what I would say. All right. So I would love if you guys would book a call. There's no like obligation. Just get on the phone, talk to my team, see how we can help you. Real estate right now is the best. When people got out in COVID, Laura came on and did a series of lives saying, don't get out. This is the best time. And guess what happened? What did COVID do? It boomed the real estate business. When everyone, all the other gurus out there saying, get out, go sell on Amazon. I don't know why he would say that. Do all this stuff. Laura said, no, stay right here. But here's the cool thing about it. A lot of coaches out now have not coached during a recession. They came in to coaching after the 2007 2008 crash. Laura's been in, she says, since Reagan was president. I wasn't even alive yet, by the way. I wasn't even a thought. All right. Like I was not there. And I am 35 years old. She has been in for 4 decades. She has seen a lot of recessions, and she's pulled through every one of them. I was in elementary school. She's, I'm gonna say because she's not on and she's not gonna watch this. She's old. She's old, but she's the ask anyone that works with her. She's the OG. There is not a question you can ask that she doesn't have the answer to. And then me and Maria are like right there. We're like right there on different things. Maria does wholesaling. She is gonna get me. I'm gonna get smacked. If you see like a black eye, like end of next week when she gets back, because one of y'all snitched on me because she doesn't watch these. But anyway, and look at her. Yeah. 61 off in Iceland for 2 weeks. Business running. I actually had to help her bring her business virtual because she was still stuck in the 20th century. So we had to get her to the 21st. But that's what I want for you guys.
I do
Maybe
want
not.
to say,
Yeah,
if you
go
don't
ahead.
mind, is I
Yeah,
really
go
want
ahead.
to make this point because you know how it is for us at the end of the day, it's women helping women. And
Yeah.
here's the thing, I cannot stress this enough. I'll quote, I think it's one of Laura's favorite quotes as well, because it works. We've seen it work. I've been in business over 20 years, so I've seen it. I've seen the ups and downs. Warren Buffett, who's the greatest investor in the world, he has a saying. He says, "Be greedy when others are scared, and be scared when others are greedy." And right now, people are scared, which means that we are getting ready for a market where, if anything happens, it's the perfect time to be in real estate.
Mm-hmm.
People need solutions. People cannot afford houses right now, guys. Interest rates are up, insurance rates are up, tariffs, inflation. Inflation is here to stay. We lived through a time that wasn't sustainable. There was all this money printing going on. Now we're dealing with the consequences. And the only thing that's going to survive is real estate, because real estate is your best inflation hedge. So you're either going to be holding rentals yourself, or guess what? You're going to be rehabbing for other people, for other investors, or you're going to be finding houses and wholesaling them to the people that are going to buy them to hold as rentals.
Yep.
This is it. This is, I hate to put it this way. It looks like I'm hoping and wishing for the economy to go south. I'm not. Okay. I've seen enough people get in trouble because of the economy being bad. So I'm not wishing anything like that. At the same time, guys, let me tell you, this is the best time to be an investor is when the markets are down. And I don't care what you're talking about. It's the same thing with the stock market too. So that's why if you have been thinking about real estate, stop thinking about it and jump in, because these ebbs and flows, these down markets don't come around all the time. And so you must take advantage when it's available. You have the choice. You are a fork in the road here, and you have the choice to completely shift where you are right now. So if you're not happy, unless you're happy with where you are, this is your chance to take advantage of historical time, because that's what we're living through, historical times.
Yep. Um, Kayla, we have different ranges. It really depends on what you need. So I know you booked a call. She'll talk about the different things. And we also have different financing available to help you. Do you recommend getting the real estate license? It depends on where you are and how you want to invest. But one of the things that Laura says is that she is not against it. She was licensed for 20 years. Maria's licensed. And she said, I'm not against it. Honestly, I feel like it's going to be a norm to have it eventually, just because there are a lot of people out there doing wrong. And that's why wholesalers have a bad rep, which, by the way, never say you're a wholesaler, say you're an investor who works with other investors. But it's, unfortunately it happened. So, but you don't need one unless you're in certain states. So yeah. When is the next?
I'm
Yep.
sorry, I was going to say I love being a realtor. So there are benefits. You don't have to be a realtor, but whatever you have to do, if you have to be a realtor, there are benefits to it as well. So don't be worried about that.
When is the next wholesaling program? I only ask because I'm unable to pay partial payments right now, but I'm going to save up to purchase the program. We don't know. We don't know when we'll launch it. It closed 2 weeks ago. We do not know as of yet, but we have other options for you if you want to still schedule. Do you all use Deal Machine and Carrot? Yeah, I have students who do. One of our coaches, Jimmy and Patricia, their husband and wife, they love Deal Machine. Um, Okay, so how much are you spending a month to get leads? I'm spending nothing to get leads. My leads are being brought to me and I'm spending nothing to get leads. If I am, it's on my long nurture strategies where I have to skip trace. So then I'm spending I have a prop stream subscription, so I pay 99 bucks a month for that. And then I have how many leads I pull, I have to pay for the skip trace that I use through the skip tracing service. I pay for that. And then I pay for my team. In the beginning, I don't want you spending a lot of money on your business. Ask any of my ladies. I tell them, you join. There are options that cost and there are options that don't. Exactly. You don't need to spend money. I do have some ladies who, because PropStream allows 5 team members. So I do have some ladies who split a PropStream account to save and they spend like 30 bucks a month, I think, on that. So there are options. I don't have much money to begin, then you're going to do the freeways. You don't need it. All other coaches encourage you to start. That makes me so mad. Okay. Direct mail has a 1% response rate. That is outdated coaching. It has a 1% response rate. That means out of 100 leads, one may even call you. Doesn't mean they're saying yes. They could be yelling at you. It literally means nothing. Direct mail, you have to have a massive budget. You need to know what you're doing. You have to have a bunch of systems in place to not spend more money. Do not do direct mail at all. It costed me nothing additional. Yeah, free, free, free. Now under 200K a month. Yeah. Do you use REI Works at all? I don't. Maria, do you? I don't think you do either. No. One of the students asked about that like a couple weeks ago too. No one I know uses it. Yeah. So we like to teach freeways or having the leads brought to you. We don't like to waste our time on spending a bunch of money in tools that also a million other people are spending a bunch of money doing, and you having a lot more higher competition that way too. Love freeways. Me too. Even now, doesn't matter. Even now. Another program encourages, but agree, have found ways to do the work with minimal cost. It really drives me nuts. They encourage that. Unless you have a high budget and you know what you're doing, you can waste. I've seen so many people waste thousands and thousands and thousands on this. Yes, contracts work in all 50 states. Our contracts do. I have students using them. Um, they use it. I've used them. They work in all 50 states. Let's see. Next question. What do you mean by leads coming to you? I have different ways, but basically I have agents bringing me deals. That is my number one way. I have agent referrals. They're bringing me deals. Um, yeah, REI Works is more expensive. I switched to PropStream. Yeah, PropStream's where it's at. I love it. Don't use it to skip trace though. Sorry, PropStream. I know I'm public. Don't use it to skip trace. Not so great. Everything else pretty good. I've been in a program with constant upsells. Yeah, I'm not surprised. Not surprised. Um, the contracts we use are standard verbiage. Yeah. It's simple. One page front and back. Easy peasy. We do it on purpose. The more fine print you have, the more likely they're going to run away from you. That's why I laugh and you can't if you're not licensed, you legally cannot use the agent's contract, by the way. Legally, you cannot use it. So I laugh when Maria says the 14 pages because when students come through with an agent's contract, I'm like, Maria, Laura, that's you. I'm not even touching that. And I'm a very experienced investor. I'm not touching that thing. I will review the ones that are ours. I will not touch an agent contract. 14 pages, some are 17. There was one that came through that was 26 pages. What seller is going to do that without having an attorney look over it? You're going to lose a lot of deals that way. Be very careful. Scares me. Mm-mm. And then I also teach the students that it's common standard to go through the contract with the seller. Can you imagine a 26-page contract on the phone with the seller going through every fine print? Oh no, I wouldn't do that. But again, some people have to, depending on the states they're in. Any other questions? Marie, anything else you want to say?
I am just excited. I have to tell you, I'm just excited about the opportunities that are coming down the pipeline. So I'm excited for you guys for being here, and well, I'm grateful. Obviously, we do enjoy sharing But also I'm excited for you here. I'm excited for our students because they're seeing how the market, is going, and now they start seeing all the opportunities that are out there. So yeah, that's all. That's all I want to say. I mean, I'm in the same position. We're active investors ourselves, so we're like, this is getting good.
I know I hate to say it because I know people are suffering, but it's like when it comes to us, I'm like, yes, I'm so excited.
You
Business,
know what? We help people. See,
we can
investors
get
have
them out of the
such
suffering.
a necessary role in the economy. So when we say get in there and do something good for yourself, that's only going to happen if you help other people. And we believe in that. And one of the reasons we have a community of women is also because women have this big heart. If you notice, anytime that we talk about what is your big why, what have many people said? Oh, I want to help this. I want to pay off my mother's house. I want to create a legacy for my children. It's always about other people.
Yeah,
So don't think for one moment that we're seeing this because we're greedy. The fact is, we're doing
exactly.
fine as it is. And as I mentioned earlier, it's not like we're here wishing for the economy to be bad at all. What I
No.
am saying, the economy is getting worse, and we don't know where this is going to stop or where it's going to end up. Not only this is your chance to really make a difference in your life, but this is your chance to make a huge difference for other people around you. You can change entire neighborhoods. This is what I was doing when we were going through the crash of 2008. When I was doing short sales, I was helping people stay out of foreclosure, and we were allowing communities to not be destroyed, because when you have subdivisions and every other house is in foreclosure, that subdivision is done. Everybody's lost everything. So your role, investors are such an important piece of the puzzle and such an important role in society. I don't want you to forget that, because you are going to be changing everybody's life, not just yours.
Well, that's what I mean. It's like we get excited because there's so many opportunities when everyone else is running rampant scared. Because then we can come in and help. And it's the investors who come in during these times where everyone's scared that we make good money because the competition leaves because they're scared. They're feeding into what's going on. And you get to come in and you get to help because a lot of the people that leave are also the people that are doing wrong by the sellers, right? And so I like that it's getting regulated. I know a lot of people don't. I personally like it because I see so many people get in and not know what they're doing and mess things up. And so I like it. And I like being able to help. I like when a seller comes to me or sends me like Christmas cards because you became so close to them and you helped them through stuff. The other thing is like one of the ladies said, I want my students need places to live. That wouldn't happen without investors. With people fix and flipping, cleaning up neighborhoods, buying blocks of properties, I have students that do that. That doesn't happen without investors. And that's something that's really, really important. Even on the larger scale, they are investors. And they come in and they make the world a better place. And women as investors, which is so important, I say this all the time, we have to get money into the hands of women and women who want to do well with the money because we can literally change the world. Women give life and they can help with life and they do a lot for the betterment of society. And that's something that's really important. So if we can help and we can turn things around and we don't take advantage of sellers, and you can literally turn the name of wholesaling around too, because right now wholesaling has a bad rap. We call it investors because there are wholesalers out there just taking advantage of these people and not standing by what they say they're going to do. We have the best ideas. We so do. We so do. Let me see. What happens after the 6 months training? We have a year-long program and then we offer lifetime access. And what's funny is a lot of our students take us up on the lifetime. Let me see what else we got. I just want to make sure I'm not missing anything. Oh, you're talking to each other. All right. Well, it's getting late. I tried, but you guys were asking so many good questions. We were sharing a lot of good stuff. Here's what an experienced investor would say or list questions they would broach walking through an urban neighborhood that had building initialed by FDC. Thank you again, Liz and Maria. You're welcome. I hope it was helpful. Always good. Yes. Well, definitely schedule your call if you want. We are offering discounts on either program that we go through. Students, we start our challenge on Monday, so I hope you're ready for that. All students, we start our challenge on Monday. We are offering a challenge right now where it's a challenge, but it gets you to doing deals in your first 30 days, gets you deals under contract. And let's see. Okay. Think of it not as a price. I will say this. Don't ever think of thing as a cost or a price when you're investing in yourself. I'm going to tell you right now, there is not a single place in the world, a single job where you can invest as little as you will and make the amount you will make because we don't take percentage of deals. Once you invest, that's it. You go off. You can make hundreds of thousands of dollars, and I guarantee you half of you on tonight have spent more than 50K in college fees. And that's not what the cost of the program is, by the way. I'm just stating, and you're not financially free. I usually do this extra. There you go, 60K. Okay. Yeah. So that's what I asked. So it's like for you to understand that 60K. I had one lady 250K on one of our workshops in college, right? Hope she's a doctor. Yeah, exactly. So, but that's what I mean. And it doesn't bring financial freedom. You know that real estate does, or you wouldn't be here. You've heard the stories, you've seen it. No one's selling a pipe dream out there. It works. It's not easy or everyone would do it. I'm not going to lie to you. But if you have the right information and you have the right steps, it's a hell of a lot easier to succeed. But there is an investment. It does work. There's, if you do what we say, like Benita said, just if anything, do it to just prove me wrong, and then let my program, Maria's program, Laura's, prove you right. Right? That's my favorite thing, Benita. I'm going to repeat that till I die because that was the best thing I could have heard. It's scary because there are many out there that talk a good game. It's very frustrating. There are many out there that talk a good game and scam a lot. I get a lot of women who have come to me from other programs, have spent 20, 30, 50, 100K and lost deals because they were taught the wrong stuff.
Mhm.
Yeah. And men, there's nothing wrong with men. There really isn't. But they don't understand how women do business. They can't. Is the program more than 8K? Depending on the program, but no, we have programs much cheaper. I did come from another and have found better. Thank you, Genevieve. I'm not paying her to say that. I was getting so frustrated until I saw you guys. That's common. That's common. Till I saw you guys. I also get a lot of I wish I found you first. Right? Maria says it all the time. She said, I've never seen a coaching program like what you offer.
Oh,
I
I
get
say it so often, guys, that sometimes I premise it by saying, I am not senile. I know I've said this 50 times already. I tell Laura all the time, I said, I cannot believe what you offer in this program. I have been in so many programs myself as a student, guys. So I was where you were. And normally what you get is here's the information, all this information, and good luck.
That
So
is
it's
exactly how.
amazing how we break everything down step by step, like we think, because everything that's going to be successful in real estate is reverse engineering. Laura and Liz reverse engineer this entire process to where it's really you just follow the steps, and it's incredible.
No, Andrea, we don't. We'll teach you how to get through it. Actually, one of my coaches, they took off Patricia and Jimmy. They almost walked away from a deal that had 100,000, 150,000 in liens and ended up making 100K and setting off their entire rental portfolio from that alone. We teach you how to get through that. Students, let's hear the love one more time. I do feel like I'm working backwards on purpose. My students, my poor students. But anyway, yes, it's good stuff. And I will say this, it's like at the end of the day, you got to trust your gut. You have to trust your gut. You have to decide, am I going to do this? Am I really going to jump into this? Some of you have been thinking about this for a while. This is the last thing I'm going to say, and then we'll get off. Some of you have been thinking about this for a while. When are you going to jump? Right? Because, and some of you have invested. I'm going to tell you now, when you start doing deals, you are not going to stress out about how much money you have invested already. You're just going to be grateful something's happening. right? I have spent a lot in coaching, not in real estate. I got really like, now that's not true. Laura took a good portion of my deals for a while to pay for the coaching. But as far as like an other event, because I do coach, I needed to know how to coach properly, deliver programs properly to you guys and stuff like that. I've spent hundreds of $1,000s in it. It always got me to my next level. It made me the coach I am today. The programs are the best they've ever been. I love our programs. I do think they really help. I mean, I have the students doing it. We have a great coaching business, like where we're able to help. I have 5 coaches on my team, all investors. It's a requirement. Active, I should say, all active, right? So that's important. But the thing is, how long are you going to sit and let another year pass and work 2 to 3 jobs, barely make ends meet? And I say this with so much love because I think we get so stuck in the fear that we don't realize we're already living bare bottom. In my case, I could only go up when I started. I had to do something because I could only go up. I had hit that. Swoosh it out. Yep. Nothing changes unless you move. I understand that is all I think about. Paula, I invest in St. Louis. Like this would be easy. Maria's there. She's probably like down the street from you. Like we invest St. Louis, easy peasy, right? All right, ladies. Well, I hope today was very helpful. The link is in the chat. Have a wonderful night. We do have an intensive coming up. We do have the challenges coming up. They are for students only. I would love to be able to work with you. I would love to see you reach your goals by Christmas. You can probably have the best Christmas, or maybe Bonita's going to spend Italy in Christmas time, right? Christmas in Italy. You can do that. That's more than doable, but we got to get you there. And then for my students, I want to see you that colored sheet of the red, the greens, and the yellows. I want to see where you are now because I guarantee you it is so different. And some of you just joined in the last couple of months. And I hope that tonight was helpful, and I loved masterminding with all of you.